Blair.
Oh, Patrick, thank God. I thought maybe you had changed your mind.
About what? Testifying? I told you I'd be here. Do whatever you need.
Thanks. It's just that I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't expect this.
Yeah. The whole idea of a custody battle is grim. But when you're facing someone as heartless as Todd...
I mean, but can he hate me that much? To use my mother the way that he did it? I mean, you saw the way his lawyer went after her. God, I lost it. I couldn't help it in front of the judge.
Well, that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to show that you can't take care of yourself, much less a child.
Patrick, that's why it's very important for you to show the judge what I'm really like.
Right. But you got to stay in control, okay? Today is your time to set the record straight. Come on, let's go inside.
Okay.
Margaret. I told you you didn't have to be here today.
Vicky? Well, I'm surprised you're here. You were so upset at me yesterday for making Blair's mother look like she was Looney Tunes. You here to tell me off again?
Maybe.
Hey, honey, you're home early. Everything okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I was working on some legal briefs, and, you know, the phone at the office just kept ringing. I thought you were working.
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to find a file. None of these happen to be that stupid file, so I'm on a wild goose chase again. It's like yesterday when I was trying to track down Antonio Vega in New York. The guy I found didn't happen to be Antonio. He could be on the moon for all I know. You seem a little distant yourself.
I'm fine, Bo. I am. I'm just, my mind is just tied up with work. Yeah.
Is that why you're so jumpy?
Hello?
Nora, it's Antonio. You alone?
No.
So you can't talk?
That's right.
Then I need to see you, okay?
Regarding?
About what you were saying before.
Have you made a decision?
That's why we need to meet.
Where?
I'm still at the warehouse.
I'll be there as soon as I can.
Thanks.
Who's that?
Oh, it's a nervous client, as if there's any other kind of client, I don't think. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to go over and hold their hand.
Client wouldn't happen to be Antonio Vega now, would it?
You don't have to say it. Do you think I'm the scum of the earth?
Don't put words in my mouth.
No, actually, I think you're a coward. Because you could have done this the decent way. But that means you would have had to fight to hold on to it. So you took the coward's way out, and you just gave up. And that makes me furious.
Then why are you here?
Because there's an innocent little life at stake. Your daughter. I'm scared to death for her, Todd. Do you have any idea what it's going to be like for her later on when she's older? When she realizes how desperately, badly you hurt her mother by dragging her through this public nightmare?
I'm not the bad guy here, okay? I just got off the first shot. What do you think Blair's not going to try and get me back? She's already got her tar and feathers all ready.
Why don't you go inside? I'll be right there.
Okay.
Thanks. I thought you had to work today.
I got someone to cover my shift.
Hi. Well, then maybe you should be at home and studying for your medical board.
I probably should, but I will do that later. I wanted to be here for you.
Thank you. Means the world to me. But are you sure you want to be here when they rake me over the coals? You haven't slept much lately.
I'm fine. On my second wind. My third.
All right. But if it gets really bad in there, I don't want you to stay.
Deal.
So little Star was born prematurely.
Yes, but she's a fighter, and so is her mother.
I think that's when I realized just how much this baby meant to Blair. I think it was all her love and hope that kept the baby alive.
And that love and that hope for her child, have they ever faltered?
Oh, no. No, it's only gotten stronger. Blair's been through some terrible times, but never once has she broken because of the love she has for that baby.
Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. That'll be all.
Mr. Freeman?
Mrs. Carpenter, have you ever worked for Todd Manning in your capacity as a reporter?
Yes.
And were you finally fired by Mr. Manning?
Yes. Yes, I'm very grateful for that. Saved me the trouble of resigning.
Oh, so you weren't happy?
I wasn't happy with the direction that Mr. Manning was taking the Sun.
And that direction would be towards emphasizing certain questionable behavior, like this?
That is a perfect example. You see, the Sun used to bring us the news when my family owned it. Now it just settles for rumor and innuendo.
Some of it involving you.
That way Todd gets to sell a few papers and he gets at Blair by hurting her family and friends.
Oh, right, I almost forgot. You're Mrs. Manning's cousin, right?
Yes, I am.
So you have more than reason enough to wish my client ill.
He is not one of my favorite people, no.
So isn't it possible then that Mrs. Manning isn't the saint you've pictured her? That she only seems that way to you compared to her husband, whom you despise?
Objection, argumentative, at the very least, sustained.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, Mrs. Carpenter. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Cassie. For what? They never laid a glove on me.
Ms. Richardson, are you ready to call your next witness?
I am, Your Honor. I'd like to call Mr. Patrick Thornhart.
And if I said it was?
I'd want to know if you're representing him.
And if I were?
Since when?
Since yesterday?
Yesterday. Ah, so the whole time I'm running around New York City, chasing shadows, you know where Antonio is, huh? You're working for him?
I didn't say I was. I said if.
If you are?
If I am. It would have happened after you left for New York City, and I wouldn't have been able to head you off.
Okay, if you are, then now point me in the right direction. Where's Antonio Vega?
Why did you bring me here? What is this place?
Well, look, you trusted me this far, right?
I don't like this place.
I know what you mean. I don't like it either.
Antonio. Why are you still doing it, Lambie? And why didn't you tell me that your brother was here?
I told you not to. I didn't want you to worry.
Why are you still here? Why didn't you go away like you told me that you would? Out of here, away from Lambview, where the police could never find you. Antonio, they could be outside right now. They could have followed me and Christian.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't think I could live the rest of my life looking over my shoulder. And that's exactly what my life would be from now on if I run.
So what else can you do?
I don't know. I talked with Nora Buchanan.
Why? You're going to turn yourself in?
She said she would take my case if I stay and fight the charges.
And what kind of justice do you think you're going to get? Remember? You remember what happened the last time you were wrongly accused?
But, Mommy, look, if he's a fugitive, the cops can get trigger happy.
I know. I prayed that wouldn't happen all the time that you were gone. And you know what else I prayed for? I prayed that you wouldn't have to spend one more day of your life in prison. All those years that you lost in Statesville, Tonio, I lost them too. And there's no way that I can go through that ever again.
Just answer the question, honey. Where is Antonio Vega?
Could we just keep talking hypothetically, please, so I don't end up in jail?
For obstructing justice, because that's exactly what you're doing if you know where Antonio Vega is, but you don't turn him in.
What if, hypothetically speaking, I was very close to convincing him to surrender?
When?
I need a little more time, Bo. I swear. And if I can pull this off, you will have your man in custody by the end of today.
Good. Then maybe I can stop wondering why my wife is all of a sudden thumbing her nose at the law.
What are you going to do? Arrest me?
Do you think what you're doing is funny?
By the end of today.
Let me just the thought of having to leave you behind, all your beautiful dreams, they've like turned to ashes. So what if I could save myself if I run? But what happens to you?
Who cares if I become a mean and bitter old lady? Just don't you do what I did. You find yourself a dream that you can live with.
I already have. Thanks to you.
Did Mrs. Manning blame you for her suffering?
How could you not? Her husband was gone. He gave his life for mine, so we thought. And Mrs. Manning had nothing but her grief and a child on the way that would never know her father, thanks to me.
How did you get past that?
We started working together on a play.
And then, months after Mr. Manning supposedly died, something clicked.
We were alone, looking for comfort. But we never lied to each other. We never even tried to. I was still very much in love with someone else, and Blair, for reasons I cannot fathom, was still in love with Todd. We had an affair, but it was over almost before it began.
And when it was over, you still remained friends?
Yeah. And I'm grateful for that because I do enjoy her company. And to see the way she loves her child, I'm just happy to be around that.
Mrs. Manning seemed a competent parent?
More than that, I'd say. She loves her child more than her own life.
And when Starr was kidnapped, did Mrs. Manning fall apart?
The idea of how frightened Starr must be was devastating, of course, but Blair was strong. She knew she had to be if she wanted to get her child back.
So despite the joy Starr brought her, Blair didn't want the baby she's now carrying, the one you and she conceived.
It seemed to be too much for her. She and Todd had just separated, and she was feeling completely alone.
And you convinced her she wasn't?
I told her that we'd created a new life together, and I would help her in any way that I could every step of the way.
So you'd always be a strong, responsible presence in her life?
I will try my best. Blair will always have a friend in me, and our child will always have a father.
Thank you, Mr. Thornhart. No further questions.
Mr. Freeman?
About this affair, Mr. Thornhart, that was over before it began, are we talking about a one-night stand?
We were together 2 times.
Was one of those times on the floor of the penthouse living room?
I don't think that's any concern of yours, sir.
What concerns me, Mr. Thornhart, is this. While you and the lovely Mrs. Manning are having at it there on the floor, do either of you have any idea if Starr is awake? Is she climbing out of her crib because she hears her mommy? Is she crawling toward the stairs? Is she watching you two? Do you even know?
You mean Vega didn't make a run for it? He's still right here in Lambview.
Yep. Got every available man doing a sweep looking for him.
But nothing, huh? Then how do you know he's still around?
Nora told me.
What?
She's taking him on as a client.
That doesn't give her the right to harbor a fugitive.
I know that. I told her that. She thinks she can talk him into turning himself in by the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I hope she does. Otherwise, I don't care who she's married to. She's obstructing justice.
Do you think I'm happy about this, Hank?
Why don't you try talking some sense into your wife?
Oh, did you have any luck doing that when she was Mrs. Hank Gannon?
Look, don't remind me, okay? But look, it gets worse.
You mean when this thing goes to trial?
Yeah, and the two of you are going to be on opposite sides in a great big media circus.
Been there, done that. Put a strain on our relationship, too.
And how come you two seem so together?
Guess we're just suckers for punishment. Hi.
Hey there.
Hello, Andy. Pull up a chair.
Look, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but Bo, I've been looking all over for you. And, Hank, I think you're going to want to hear this, too, I guess, though. I'm afraid you won't like it.
What dream did I give you, Antonio? You wanted to be a lawyer. The people in this town, they wouldn't let you do that. To them, you'll always be guilty of something.
No, Mommy. You gave me a different dream. You taught me how to be proud of myself. If I'm gonna have some problems, I gotta stay and face them. Now, right here, once and for all. Who's there?
It's Nora. Glad you have your family with you. It's not a decision you want to make alone.
Nora, I have to ask you a question. If Antonio decides to stay and turn himself in and face this murder charge, can you guarantee that you'll get him off?
Mommy, that's not fair.
This is a very fair question. No, I can't guarantee you anything, Carlotta. Absolutely not. And you wouldn't trust me if I did. I can promise you one thing. If Antonio stays and fights, he's got a chance of freedom. If he runs, he'll be running for the rest of his life, and that's no kind of freedom at all.
It's up to you. Just know whatever you decide, you'll have my support. I'm just so scared.
Probably go.
So have you come to a decision?
I'm gonna stay.
Can we go now? Yeah.
I know your job's on the line. But before I let them lock me up, there's one more thing I need you to do.
That's a truly disgusting question.
Well, it happens to bother me. Also, that the child could have been neglected for how many hours at a stretch while you and her mommy romped about the
I
apartment.
have never known a mother more watchful of her child. In fact, the only time she did not know where Star was when Star was kidnapped.
So, in other words, Mrs. Manning is a very responsible person.
Yes.
She's just not very good at birth control. Her current pregnancy with your child is an accident, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
Mr. Thornhart, while you were having your brief affair with Mrs. Manning, were you also pursuing another man's wife, Mrs. Margaret Moody?
Objection, Your Honor. Overruled, but get to the point, Mr. Freeman.
I am almost there, Your Honor. If I could clarify just one more thing. Mr. Thornhart, do I have this right? Even though Mrs. Manning is having your baby, you're still involved with the now divorced Miss Saybrook?
That's correct.
Sounds like a swinging life indeed. I am envious of your stamina. But do you honestly feel that Mrs. Manning has any reason to trust you? She is having your child, yet you admit you've moved on to another conquest. Now, is this the sort of stable environment you're helping to provide, little Star?
Your Honor, objection. Sustained. Move on, Mr. Freeman.
Actually, I have no further questions.
Ms. Richardson, redirect.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Thornhart, can you recall a single time, a place, an instance when Mrs. Manning was less than responsible, careful, and devoted to Star?
No. As I said before, she loves her baby more than her life.
Thank you, Mr. Thornhart. No further questions.
You may step down, Mr. Thornhart. This court will take a brief recess.
All rise.
Are you all right?
I'm sorry, I had no right to put you through that.
I just hope I didn't damage your case.
I'm sure you didn't, Mr. Thornhart. My client's lucky to have you as a friend.
So, where's Dorian today?
I think she's out of town, but I don't know, and I don't care.
Oh.
If you're looking for your girlfriend, she left. I guess you just couldn't take it hearing all about your love life.
And what do you know about love? You're so twisted you're hurting the one person that actually cares about you. And why? Because she made you feel something?
Oh, I felt something, all right, when I saw the two of you rolling around on the floor like animals.
That's because the snake was presumed dead.
Well, that's her excuse. So what's yours? I mean, Marty sure wasn't dead. What are you doing running around behind her back?
You think RJ was the shooter?
Hank, look, I know it's not what you want to hear.
Look, if my brother has to go down, then so be it. But do you have any hard evidence?
All right, no. But you guys, I've been looking over the time charts, and from the time that the lights went out to the time you saw RJ yourself, he had plenty of time to get out on that deck, shoot Carlo, and put Carlo's blood all over a shirt that looked just like the shirt that Antonio was wearing. Then later, I don't know, a day, two, whatever, put that shirt in Antonio's apartment.
You buying any of this?
It's possible.
All right, look, I know there's no hard evidence. Okay, anyway, I go over to RJ's. That's when I hear Carlo talking.
What?
On a tape. Look, I know, it freaked me out, too. RJ said that it was just Carlo's final instructions for his funeral, you know, in case any of his enemies ever caught up with him. Anyway, I figure if there's the one tape, then there's...
Yeah, there are probably others. Then. Maybe he
Exactly.
taped all his conversations. Maybe there's something that could implicate the real killer.
Assuming it's not Antonio. Hey, you saw him destroying evidence. Burning the shirt that had Carlo's blood on it. Hey, come on, for God's sake. Am I the only one who feels like we should keep our money on Vega?
I'm sorry, Andy, but I think Hank's probably right.
What about the tapes? RJ's got tapes with Carlo's voice on it. That could be evidence.
I don't know. I'd like to hear those tapes, too, so I'll see RJ, see if he'll give them up without a warrant. But in the meantime, I'd like to ask you something, Harrison. What do you think you're doing right now?
My job.
Ah. See, you were supposed to follow through on the shirt, and then that was it. Because you're too close to Antonio, your relationship. He is our prime suspect. You're familiar with the term conflict of interest? You could compromise this whole case, Andy.
I'm sorry to interrupt, guys, but Andy, you've got a phone call at the bar.
Great. Excuse me. Hello?
Andy, it's Nora. I need you to walk out of Rhodey's right now.
Out, why?
Because I'm standing right outside of it. Please hurry, and I'll meet you in my car.
No, Nora, what's this about?
I'll explain all of this later. Just also, don't let Bo know you're leaving to meet me, okay?
Nora.
I swear to God, if you use Margaret's name one more time...
What are you going to do, write a nasty poem?
No.
Excuse me, do either one of you seriously believe that this is the time or the place for a fight?
All right.
Hang in there. Cassie.
Yes.
You gotta do me a favor. I have to leave. Please keep an eye on Blair.
I'll be right by your side.
All right. It's not going well in there. And if she loses control again...
I'd like to call Blair Manning. So would it be fair to say there are many things you regret?
Oh, yes. I'm not proud of the person that I was. I manipulated people. I lied to people. I even married a man that I didn't love. Mr. Asa Buchanan, because he promised that he would help take care of my mother.
A bad bargain?
Oh, yes. Thank God that that fell through. Because a couple of years ago, I did meet a man that I could love, and we were happy for a while, and then he went away because I thought that he was dead, and that part of my life was over.
You couldn't be as selfish as you've been.
No. I had a child on the way, and I wanted to keep the son going as a memorial to Todd. I had to grow up fast, and I wanted to be a lot more responsible. And I know that I have a long way to go, but I am very proud of the things that I've done so far. I've raised my daughter on my own, and I've helped take care of, well, to pay my mother's hospital bills, and I've boosted the son's circulation. And I've also given back to the community, too. A month ago, I hosted a charity ball to raise money for a children's charity. And then last summer, I tried to put on a production of Shakespeare in Angel Square, but...
You tried to? Did something happen?
Yes. The night before we opened, Todd set fire to the sets.
Objection. Speculation.
Sustained. Todd never admitted he set the fire, is that correct?
Yes.
Has he admitted doing anything hurtful to you since he's been back?
Yes, he has. When my little girl Star was kidnapped, everyone thought that Carlo Hesser had taken her, but that wasn't true. Todd finally admitted that he had taken Star.
And why do you think he would have done something so cruel?
Objection.
Mr. Freeman, I'm going to let the witness speak to her own state of mind here. Mrs. Manning?
He wanted to hurt me because he was jealous of Patrick Thornhart.
With reason?
No.
Even though you and Mr. Thornhart had a brief sexual relationship?
That was when I thought that my husband was dead, and, Your Honor, I was very, very lonely for such a long time, and Patrick, he was simply kind to me. He was a very decent, generous man. But I didn't love him. I couldn't. Because I was still in love with Todd.
And when Todd came back?
It was like a dream. I was getting a second chance, a chance to get back everything that I lost.
Did you?
Oh, no. From the beginning, Todd felt that I had betrayed him. What I felt for Patrick was nothing like what I felt for Todd. But Todd couldn't see that. I think Todd tried to believe me when I told him that I loved him, but it was too late. His mind had already been poisoned.
Thank you for being so honest with us, Mrs. Manning. Your witness?
Are you sure you want me to do this?
Listen, you guys, I got some stuff I gotta do, but I'll see you at the headquarters later.
All right, we'll take your idea about RJ under advisement.
Hank, I'm sorry if I upset you.
RJ killing Carlo. Hey, look. You know, it's not like it hadn't occurred to me. I mean, I knew that one day might come when I'd have to arrest my brother. But whether that day is today...
I know. I feel the same way. I think you're probably right. Antonio Vega's still our suspect numero uno. But she did go to see RJ at Club Indigo, and she heard a tape. It was Carlo on the tape. Now, wouldn't you just love to know what he was talking about?
I need an answer, Todd. Do I try and destroy your wife? Yes or no? Showtime.
Just do it.
Mrs. Manning, do you have any proof that your husband set the fire in Angel Square?
No.
And Todd's supposed confession to you that he took your child, did that convince the Landview Police Department to issue a warrant for his arrest?
It would have been his word against mine.
In fact, since his so-called return from the dead, isn't it true Mr. Manning has never been arrested, much less charged with any crime?
Yes, that's true.
Of course, neither of you, and yet you've admitted doing some very naughty things, like withholding Asa Buchanan's medication when he needed it.
I already explained that to the court, that I have made some very bad mistakes, but I've learned from them. And I've also learned from my daughter. She has a very loving heart, and she has taught me how to be a good mother.
I see. A good mother who would have an adulterous liaison in front of the child with this Patrick Thornhart, a man who left you alone and pregnant, a man with a shadowy past full of danger and sudden violence, a man who, by his own admission, loves another woman.
My daughter has never been exposed to anything that she shouldn't see with Mr. Thornhart or anyone else. And when I did have that relationship is when I thought my husband had drowned in the Irish Sea, so I don't see how that could be an adultery.
And you mourned your husband exactly how many months before you hopped in the sack with Mr. Thornhart? Withdraw the question. That'll be all, Mrs. Manning.
Mrs. Manning, there's a question I would like to ask. Could you tell me what your feelings are right now about your husband?
Well, I would, I'd have to go back to when Todd and I first fell in love. He was no saint, but neither was I. But yet still he loved me. We both had demons, our own demons gnawing away at us. Yet loving Todd helped me to be less self-destructive, and I thought that I was doing the same for him. We were close. So close to saving each other. But you want to know how I feel now? Like I already lost my husband once when I thought that he died, and now I've lost him again because I failed to save him from the darkness in his own heart. I thought that Todd wanted to change at one time, but now I don't think that's possible, and I can't protect him from himself. But I can protect my daughter from the self-hatred and the violence that comes out of that. I don't think that Todd would deliberately hurt Star, but she would be hurt. She would be hurt if she lived with him and saw that the light had gone from his eyes. Please. Please, Your Honor, don't give custody My daughter. To a dead man.
Margaret.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry I had to leave.
It's all right. I didn't really want you to be there in the first place.
No, I wanted to be there. It's just that... that testimony, it got so ugly.
I know. Are you all right?
I am now. Are you all right?
I don't know.
You do know how much I love you.
Yeah. And I love you with all my heart. And will till the end of time. But now our love has brought us to a place. I feel like I'm standing on a cliff, and I think I'll have to jump off.
Into what?
The rest of your life, I'm hoping. Margaret Saybrook, will you marry me?
Nora.
No, please, just don't even think, okay? Just go in. I wish I could give you more time. You only got an hour, okay? I'll just,
Honey, it's over. You did it. You okay?
Todd. You were so sure that Blair was going to tear into you. Didn't exactly happen, though, did it?
Mr. and Mrs. Manning, I know it will be very little comfort to you, but I want you to understand that custody battles always seem to bring out the worst in people. Now, it's very clear to me that you're both devoted to your daughter, and both of you have long records of frightening instability and violence. Now, I applaud your efforts to overcome that dark legacy. Both of you have worked very hard in correcting your past mistakes, and both of you have succeeded, but only in part. Now, blame is not the issue here. What I am sworn to determine are the best interests of your child, specifically to work out a fitting custodial arrangement. And having carefully listened to the testimony and the evidence in such a difficult case, I have arrived at what I think is the only possible decision.